going on, everybody? We have Stateline Sinners here with us.
Hello.
Yes, we know we are missing Jags with us today. Unfortunately, he had to work, and we will miss him. But hey, we're still gonna have fun regardless, ain't we?
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
So we're gonna go ahead and get right into it with the first question of the day. I mean, we have so many, and we have a lot of stories to tell, right? So I want to know one thing.
Go for it.
What is y'all's dream bus if y'all was to go on tour? Y'all had unlimited amount of money and everything else like that. I know Jags's answer was going to be a working shower and a working toilet. So we all know his answer like the back of our hand.
What would you? God, man. I'm a van lifer, so I live in my van, right? So for me, anything that involves me not having to shit in a bucket, I'm good with, right? So yeah, I don't know, as long as we've got enough snacks, I guess. Like,
if it was going to be a diva, I reckon I'd go for one of those buses like they explain in Rockstar by Nickelback. You know, where they've got a big tour bus, full of guitars. Right. That'd be pretty sweet. But yeah, shitting in the bucket sucks. I used to live in a caravan, static home for 5 years. So I'm pretty much on the same thing. If there's a hot shower and there's somewhere that we can poo that doesn't upset the other one.
When you say we can poo, we're not doing it together, right?
Why not?
Well, no, I'm just saying.
I kind of like it when he holds my hand. It just makes me feel a lot more rested.
What the? Holy shit. I mean, trust you to, you interview two British guys, and the first thing we talk about is toilets. Do you know what I mean? We're terribly British.
You never know where we're going to go on this show. I mean,
I think the thing is, on a bus, just as long as it's fucking comfortable, man. We're not precious about. I mean, he lived in a caravan, I live in a van. It's like, anyway, as long as it's warm. Who gives a shit?
Snacks are good.
Snacks, yeah.
Duvets.
Snacks.
Incense.
Snacks.
I had a choice. I'd like a tour bus sized VW van, like the old camper vans, like the split screen. But if we could get like exactly like this, if we could get a tour bus sized VW van, sweet. Absolutely.
All right.
That'd be cool.
That would be awesome.
Please and thank you to whoever's
listening.
Please. Yeah.
All right. So we have a lot of genres of movies out there, but I'm going to go with the horror genre. What is your guys' favorite horror movie that you guys have seen, or what is the most gory movie you've seen?
Oh, blimey.
You go first.
Gory. The latest one I saw was Terrifier 3. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
I love them films, man. They're awesome. I was an 80s kid. I was born in 1980, so I grew up in the late 80s, early sort of 90s. So my neighbor used to pass video nasties over the hedge to me. We used to have a village video van that used to drive about, and this dude in a van would literally rent tapes out for 3 nights at a time. So I'd have Nightmare on Elm Street coming over, Friday the 13th, just staple of sort of what you'd call the great 80s horror, So yeah, for me, I kind of grew up on slashers and weird ones, and there's been all sorts of films that I've seen. Human Centipede, that was pretty gnarly.
Oh boy, we went there. Went there.
Antichrist was another one that was pretty brutal as well.
I remember when I was a kid. I remember that similar thing about you go out to the video store and my dad. I remember watching Nightmare on Elm Street the first time. The very first one. And it terrified me. I was just like, there's a dude that's going to kill me in my night. And I'm like, oh, God. I remember being a kid and it scared me shitless. It was like, oh, my God. As far as movies, I don't know necessarily if you'd call it a horror movie. I am a huge, massive fan of Dusk Till Dawn. Right? That flick, everything about that, I love that movie. And something we watched recently was Sinners. Holy, that film! I mean, not necessarily on the good, but what a great movie that was! Like,
cinematography is sweet. Soundtrack is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome film. That one you told
me about. See, I've always been a big fan of Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah.
So,
yes.
So that's always been my, like, if I could find all the videos or all the movies or all the shows, I would. That is something that I would collect because that is one of my favorite shows.
Yeah.
It's all on Amazon.
Yeah.
Good shout.
He's got to find the right ones.
Yeah. Totally. I think for me, like horror films and that, if they've, the more twisted it is up here, you know, the more it makes you think like, oh god, yeah, that's the sort of stuff that I sort of get off on. I love that sort of where it's not just like blood and guts and everything else, and that's fine. But if there's something that's really going to make you like, holy shit, you know, I mean that's my kind of flick.
Yeah, I mean, Identity, that was one. There were two films that Justin told me about the other day. Identity was one of them. That was pretty cool. And 1408.
John Cusack.
1408 is the movie that screwed with my head.
It does, doesn't it? It's
yeah. I would give you that one.
Yeah,
that was crazy. But so getting back into the music and everything, what is y'all's best memory growing up at a concert?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, sorry.
That's awesome. That's
That's a great question. I think my first big concert I went to was Guns N' Roses, and Skid Row were like the support. And I remember turning around to my dad. I don't have my dad anymore, bless him. But I remember I couldn't get a Guns N' Roses t-shirt before I went. So I was like, oh, and this is like I was a hell of a lot younger. So I got the Skid Row t-shirt, and the Skid Row was like, it's got Skid Row No Fucking Frills t-shirt. And I put it on to go to this big gig. And my dad said to me and said, someone's going to beat you up if you walk around with that on. You know, it's like, but that gig was like, I mean, Axl kept us waiting for ages, you know, like is the norm. But that, for me, that gig was like, God. And because it was like the first proper gig I'd been to, it blew my mind. It was the amount of people, the noise, how loud it was. Incredible. I loved that. That was mine. Yeah.
I mean, my first musical memory was being taken to these really horrible country and western concerts, as we used to call it. They used to call it country and western, and like these Irish crooners. There was a dude called Daniel O'Donnell. It was a real, like, no one under the age of 60 really was there. So I was just like, you know, it was like going to a gig with Betty White, basically. It was like, but that said, I used to stare at this dude like called Billy Condon, and he was a guitarist, and I just remember being transfixed by him playing guitar. So I was just like, I want to do that. That's really cool. So that was kind of my earliest musical memory, even though like the songs themselves were amazingly shite. The guy on the stage with the guitar was awesome. I think my first like proper blew me away musical experience was actually my first gig on my own when I went to go and see Dinosaur Jr. And those guys just blew me away. Just to be on my own with a mate, no parental guidance, a couple of cheeky beers. I lost my Doc Martin. I broke my glasses. I got a guitar pick. And I left there feeling on top of the world. My ears were ringing. I was pretty drenched in beer. And it was just like, I love rock and roll, man. I love rock and roll. And I think that's what rock's all about. It's about, you know, leaving people with an imprint of just feeling absolutely on top of the world, like on another plane once they've left that gig, man. And if you can do that,
definitely
get that buzz, you're set, man. So they kind of, if it wasn't for Jay Mascis and Dinosaur Jr. and seeing them, different level, man. Just really made me feel like a superhero when I left that gig, man.
You are though, aren't you?
I don't like to talk about it.
Okay, I'm saying.
Unfortunately, the police around this area don't like it when you wear your underpants outside your trousers and run around. It's much frowned upon.
It's unusual for you to be wearing pants, to be honest. It's unusual for you to be clothed, to be honest.
I do spend a lot of time naked, to be honest.
It's not pretty.
It's not big either, unfortunately.
No.
Yeah, that's
You go in, you knock on the door and it's like, is he or isn't he? I always sort of like you knock on the door and like, are you decent? Are you decent? yeah, okay. And then we stood there going, well, nearly. It's like, oh God, yeah.
Got to let the breeze get to things, don't you, man? You know,
I get that. I mean, you gotta let it breathe every once in a while.
Amen to that, bro. Amen to that.
But CB must know that he lives in Arizona. It's like you must be all the time. Like,
I've got my place at 68 degrees year round.
There you go. See, we don't have aircon here. Aircon here is open a window.
Yeah.
Not that it gets that hot here anyway. So.
Oh yeah, we're pulling into the triple digits this next week actually.
Oh my days.
So,
I couldn't cope. I couldn't cope with the heat.
I'd just be sitting naked in front of my freezer, just open.
As all the food inside spoils. Do you know what I mean?
The sight of my naked body.
Just all the milk just goes sour. No.
Like a Dracula film. Yeah.
All right. So, what is some of the best advice that you've ever received that you still hold true to today?
I know mine. One of these, and I'm going to kind of name drop. I don't mean to. From a musical standpoint, I remember being in a covers band, and I was about 18, I think, 18 or 19, and our bass player and myself went to this pub called the Crown and Cushion, and it's in a place called Great Gransden, out in the sticks around here. And the guy that used to live opposite was Don Airy from Whitesnake, and the keyboard player from Whitesnake, lived opposite the pub. So we go there looking for a gig, and Don Airy sat at the bar. Now, I didn't know who he was. Our bass player did, and we sat there, and he's like, dude, it's Don Airy. I'm like, Don who? It's like, who is it? When he said, obviously, as soon as he said Whitesnake. So, anyway, bass player goes off talking to the landlord, and Don Airy sat there, and he probably doesn't remember that. I don't know, is he still alive? I have no idea.
I believe so. He was in Deep Purple too, wasn't he?
Yeah. So he sort of looked at me and said, "Oh, you're looking for a gig?" And I'm like, "Yeah, blah blah blah." And he said, it was the nicest thing. He said, "All I will tell you is," he said, when I used to get on stage with Dave, which I thought was so cool. It was like Dave, I've covered out, obviously, but I'm like, okay. He said, some people snort it, some people sniff it, some people inject it, and everything else. He said, there will be nothing like playing live to people and having people sing to you back, what you've written. He said, all I'll say to you is, I know this is the start, just keep going. Just keep going, stay true to yourself, and just keep going. That's the best advice I ever heard. And coming from him, yeah, just keep going, I guess. That was the best advice I had. Just keep your head down and keep going. Not everyone's going to like what you do. And that's like so many things, not just music, just keep going. Even when it gets tough and it gets, you have to just keep going. That was the best advice that and my father's advice saying, just get on with it. It's like, that was me. What about you?
I think
Yeah, Clive.
My dad always used to say, just enjoy. And that's pretty much it. Just enjoy it.
Yeah.
And if you don't, do something about it. And that can be put for so many different things. It can be relationships. It could be a job. It could be musically. It could be any endeavor. If you're really passionate about it, enjoy it. But if you don't, then
find something else.
Find something else.
Yeah.
Also, another valid piece of advice that I read from Keith Richards in his book Life. His dad used to say to him, "There's a fine line," and sorry about the analogy here, but it's so true for life. There's a fine line between scratching your ass and tearing it to bits.
I love Keith. He just knows.
It's amazing, but it really resonates. I mean, going on a different tangent, I'm sober now. I'm long-term sober, but I used to party quite hard, and I didn't know the difference between moderation and not. So in that kind of key, it does resonate, you know, like little bits here and there are all right, but yeah, there's definitely a fine line between scratching your ass and tearing it into bits, you know.
We've known each other about 20 years, and I remember those days. And he was a fucking animal, like just an animal. And like since we kind of, I think we worked out when we, you know, I moved from where I was living back up home around this area. And I reached out to him and just sort of said, you know, are you still like playing guitar? And then that's when we started chatting. But we hadn't actually seen each other face to face for 15 years.
Yeah. And
it was literally one of those friendships where you pick up where you left off. But this time he was sober. And it was, I'm really proud of him. It's like, you know, what he's done. And I mean, he's staying true to himself. And, you know, the wild Clivey, and he was, you know, it's like that person, the personality's still there, you know, and yeah, it's just, I'm just proud of the dude. Seriously.
He says drinking a pint of vodka, I heard. Sorry.
Yeah, there's rum in the coffee, right?
Always. Yeah. But no, I think there is, like, you know, going back on that, moderation is key. We got the Download Festival over here. It used to be the Monsters of Rock, and I've been going for the last few years, and I've got an amazing crew of guys that go. We all go together. Got good friendship base there. Little group that we called Roadhouse, and great guys, and they like to party. And I'm kind of like the mum of the group now. So while they're all getting on it and everything, I'm like, "Have you got your sun cream on? Are you staying hydrated?"
You got that far into it.
Yeah, so I'm the granny of the group now, but yeah, moderation is key, I guess. Is the
I think most of us with age, we all kind of gravitate to that. It's like, hey, I see what you're doing. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. Yeah, you might want to drink some water.
Absolutely that.
There's the counter one to that as well. The moderation thing. I remember there was like a liquor store. And they had near me, and they had these. They used to put these different signs and sayings up outside the building. And I remember one of them was said, "I'd rather have a bottle in front of me than a frontal lobotomy." That was one. And then the other one said, "Everything in moderation, including moderation." It's like, so yeah, it kind of backs that. Sorry, I'm rambling.
Yeah. No, you're good. You're good.
All right. So, well, if y'all was to go on tour with 3 bands, dead or alive, what would you choose?
Okay. You want to tell that?
Yeah, I'm breaking out the good ones today.
Dead or alive.
There's a lot of bands out there. I mean, you can even choose indie bands if you choose to.
You got to have Queen with Freddie Mercury.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
We hear that a lot.
I'm not surprised, man. I mean, the guy was a legend.
I think for me it would be Zeppelin.
Oh, yeah, good shout.
100%. Definitely Zeppelin. The other one would be...
This is a question. If we're picking 3 bands, because it's relative to both of us, does that mean that, like, collectively we can have 6 together?
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah. You've tagged in Zeppelin. I've got Queen, so we've got 2 left each. I like this game. This is sweet.
Go on in. If this is so fucking easy.
Beatles.
Ooh.
Beatles would be good.
Okay. I see your Beatles and I raise you AC/DC.
Ooh. Okay, then in that case,
gloves are off now.
Soundgarden.
Okay.
To see Cornell.
All right.
Cornell's a legend.
Yeah. Who was the other one? I would.
It's the last one.
No pressure.
out there just because of like you read the stories about the car. I would like to go on tour with the Doors.
Oh yes, we'll play.
Okay.
Yeah,
nice.
Morrison, man,
hell of a lineup.
Like,
can we have Mariah Carey as our roadie though, just for shits and giggles?
as a roadie?
Yeah.
She wouldn't have any other uses.
Oh.
No, I'm just saying. Oh, well, controversial. I'm just saying.
Misogyny is rich with that one. I'm not partaking in that sort of thing. Thank you. Did you see the pink?
I saw the pink.
You saw the pink.
Yeah. You have the excuse, though. You have the excuse, Clive. He thinks his shit doesn't stink. Do you know what I mean?
All right. So into the next question. You guys are from England.
Yes.
What is, from your experiences, what is the worst stereotype that you hear about people that live in England?
Oh, blimey.
I think there was a saying back in the 60s or the 70s, and they said, "No sex, please, we're British." That's a lie. That's a complete lie. I think the stiff upper lip, that we're all, I don't know. I remember when I visited the States before, and a guy came up to me and he said, and I apologize for the American accent. All right, I can't really do an American accent, but he came up to me and said, "Hi." I'm like, "Hi." He's like, "Oh, you're from England?" I'm like, "Yes." He went, "Do you know Ron in Derby?" And I'm like, okay, there's so much talking about. First of all, it's Derby, not Derby. And also, Derby's a big place. And also, who the fuck is Ron? I don't know who this person is. I suppose in comparison to the States, just as an example, England's a lot smaller. But I think the snobbery, that really hacks me off because they all think that we're like posh. Yeah, they all think we're posh and we're related to the Queen or we've met the Queen and we have tea and scones and that and God bless her, but we don't.
To be fair, I quite like tea and scones.
I think so do I, but not with the monarchy. You can't do that.
Not since last time.
No. I didn't end well, did it?
No, it didn't. Prince Andrew and his wandering fingers.
You said you weren't going to discuss that. NDA you signed. Okay, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
No, I think that whole, I think that the stereotypical that it always rains in England, which it kind of does, but we do get good weather here, and it isn't always cold, and we're not all born with a silver spoon in our mouth, and we're just all regular, normal people, like anyone else. I think that's, yeah. Oh, right. The other thing they get told, English food is bland. My old bass player from a band, he was from New York, and he said, all your food is bland. And some of the foods that we have, he used to say, we got a dessert, and it's like a cake that's got sultanas in it and stuff like that, and it's called spotted dick. It's like, why would I want to? It's spotted dick and custard. That's what you have. And he's like, I am not eating any food that's got dick.
See, the last time I've ever heard the word spotted dick was in a Jackie Chan and
you can get cream for it as
movie.
Well.
Damn, what was it called? Shanghai Nights. That's what it was called.
Oh, right, yeah.
They said that in the movie. I'm sitting here like, what the hell is that?
There's a funny thing we used to say as well with stuff that's lost in translation, and again, my bass player was from New York, and he'd been over here with the military. He was here with the Air Force, and there's a big U.S. Air Force base near us, and he was air traffic control, and he said he'd been here a while, and he went back home to New York and was speaking to his brother, and he picked up little phrases that we used here, and his brother said something, and he said, "Oh, you're taking the piss." Right? Okay. And he was like, so you're not being serious. So his brother looked at him, scratched his head and went, "Okay, let me ask you a question here. All right." He said, first of all, whose piss am I taking and where am I taking it to? It was like, mad.
Well, I mean, for our standpoints, I get that means like, are you fucking joking or something like that?
100%.
Yeah, are you fucking with me? Are you yanking my chain? That kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, are you taking the piss? Whose piss am I taking, and where am I taking it to? You know, it's like.
All right, so given the fact that we know you're movie fans and stuff like that, so we're gonna go into the action genre of movies.
Okay, cool.
What's y'all's favorite action movie?
Die Hard.
Damn, that was fast.
I got a question on that. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Yes.
There we go. There we go. For everybody out there that's listening right now, Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Yeah, so not being funny, UBKA, you know.
Yeah.
So,
we have this debate. My sister and I, my sister-in-law and I have this like conversation every year, and she's staunch. She's like, it's not a Christmas movie. So I go out of my way from like the 1st of December to send her memes about Die Hard being a Christmas movie,
100%.
just to really get into the festive spirit of things. It's quite sweet, really. But Christmas movie.
Now I have a machine gun. Yes. Yeah, for me, actually, Die Hard, 100%.
I think I'm gonna have to go with Die Hard 2. Not actually Die Hard 2, but Die Hard as well. It's a great film, man. It's a cracking film.
The other one, sorry, there is one more. The Rock.
Okay.
Sean Connery in that. You know, when the Colonel's standing there and he's saying all this stuff, and he said, "You say you're a patriot. Personally, I think you're a fucking idiot." Because no matter what Connery's in, he's still James Bond, right? Okay, doesn't matter what movie he was in. It's like you just diss James Bond. That's. I think there's another group of films, the James Bond films, all of them.
Yeah.
Yep, I've been watching Sean Connery since I was young, and every single movie he's ever played in, it's always been spot on with him. He's always been his own character, but it's always him. But like you had said, he's still James Bond. So anytime you see him, like that's James Bond.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yep. Absolutely, 100%. I mean, he could be in. I mean, even in Highlander, it's just James Bond in a kilt.
So true.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the all the James Bond movies. Oh God, you start me off on a tangent now.
Taken, that's really good. Do you remember Taken?
Taken was a good film.
Was a good film, man.
Oh, and all the Bourne, Jason Bourne, all of those.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that, we're gonna go ahead and have a short commercial break, real quick. That was Boomer commercial with, I mean, you need your house washed. If you live in South Carolina, hey, give them a call. But we're going to go ahead and go back into the daggone questions. So,
okay.
Are Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars. 100%.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's not even up for debate, surely.
Literally.
Oh, we have had a couple of Star Trek people come on this show.
Yeah, we've had a couple.
I got nothing against Trekkies. All I'll say is their overconfidence is their weakness. Yeah,
absolutely.
They said to me, and then they turned around and said that my faith in my friends is mine. I'm like, what? What's that about? Like, yeah.
You do recite Star Wars, like
I do. It's like I remember when we were going to put. Well, I remember when we were talking about putting the debut single out, and I kind of gone through the process before with another band, but Clivey hadn't. And I said, it's not like Dustin Crocs, boy. And he's like, what are you saying? Star Wars, 100%. 100%. Alec Guinness, man, just
Yeah. We were talking about this earlier about Ewan McGregor's uncle being.
Yeah, you knew that, right?
What?
So Ewan McGregor, who played Obi-Wan Kenobi, right?
Oh,
so his brother. So first of all, his brother's an aviator. He's a pilot, and his call sign is Obi-2.
No, I did not know that.
And also, Ewan McGregor's uncle.
Yep.
The actor that played Wedge, that's Ewan McGregor's uncle.
Huh.
Yeah.
Ah.
We literally had this conversation about an hour ago.
An hour ago.
About an hour ago, yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, definitely Star Wars.
Star Wars, yeah.
All right, so
So, what is one of the craziest moments that you've ever seen when you went to a concert or while you had a concert going on? What is the craziest moment you've ever had?
Myself personally, or what I witnessed?
Both, either or.
Oh God,
we're all for the stories. It can be anything that you can. We have heard anything from people throwing up in the pit and then sliding in it in their home.
I remember going to see Extreme.
That's pretty standard in England, to be honest. Yeah.
I remember going to see Extreme, and I think that was a Monsters of Rock when Aerosmith were headline. That was 90 something or other. And Nuno Bettencourt was doing his solo and everything else. And Gary Strong came out and started waving his ass in front of the crowd. And someone threw an apple and hit him square on the ass. It was like, oh! that was quite wild. It was, he wasn't pleased. So,
I'm trying to think. I mean, you've got the standard stuff like blow-up mattresses being brought in and people crowd surfing like on a blow-up mattress. That's pretty fun.
Couples having sex in a portaloo. I saw that once. That wasn't pretty. You know, I mean, whatever they were doing, I mean, the portaloo was like this. They went in as people, and I reckon if that tipped, they'd come out as Smurfs. Do you know what I mean? Like, boom.
Nope. Would not do it.
Yeah, I was going to say, in the mosh pit itself.
See, I don't do mosh pits, but you do.
Yeah.
Well, you did.
Trying to avoid, like, I went to see Rancid play at Brixton, and Brixton Academy is kind of on a slope, and there are a lot of punks there, obviously, and punks have a tendency to drink a lot of cider and black. So at the beginning of the gig, when you're on that kind of trajectory, the floor is nice and dry, and then by the end of it, where they've been peeing at the back, you're basically wading about like in piss, getting played like. So that's probably the most horrible thing I've had. Yeah, just not nice, man. Not nice at all. But yeah, I think probably a unicorn on a lilo, going like a dude in a unicorn onesie going across Windsor. Awesome. I think when Ghosts were playing at Download, that was pretty fun.
That's cool.
Okay.
Into that, man. Yeah.
Okay. I have not heard that one before.
You get a lot of weird onesies that, like, especially Download Festival was great. You get people dressed up as like Elvis, as unicorns, nuns.
This is England after all, and we are a bit quirky, as people would say, and we are a bit quirky. We have to do something to, like, you know, we let loose when we get, like I say, when we get the sun, you get sun for 4 days, and everyone's like, and summer's here, and then in 4 days, summer's gone. It's like,
I remember seeing a dude up a tree at Glastonbury, and I mean, just a trigger warning, this is a conversation that includes substances, but I won't go too much into it, but he had blatantly been indulging in something that was a bit Christmassy, shall we say. He was just caked in white stuff, and he was up a tree just shouting at people, and honestly, I don't know what he'd been doing, but his face was just absolutely covered. He looked like an extra from Scarface or something, but he was up a tree shouting at people. And unfortunately, it was one of the driest Glastonburys ever. It was like 2000, I think it was. Really, really dry. And the only areas where there was mud was by the sides and the hedges. And you can understand what the mud was made out of because everyone had been there. And he'd basically been rolling about in mud and was just covered in white dust and piss mud and shouting at people out of the tree.
Yeah. Santa's in the tree.
It was just nonsensical babble as well. Like, I just,
love that.
Amusing though.
Yeah, I love that dude.
Yeah, nice.
That dude was having the time of his life.
Yeah,
it sounds like it.
I would not want to be inside his head on the Tuesday after that festival, man. Seriously, they'd probably be like walking into room 1408. To be honest,
did he climb the tree because he thought he could fly?
I have no idea, man.
Making a nest. Making a nest.
I don't know, dude.
Sorry.
Yeah.
These are great questions. Keep them coming.
Well, I mean, we can go all night into it. I mean, have y'all ever stage dived?
Yes.
No.
Absolutely.
I since you haven't stage dived, do you want to?
What, are we doing it now?
not right now. I can't catch you from here.
The cat can.
I was going to say.
Well, I guess what he's trying to say is if you had the opportunity, if you haven't already, is that something that you would want to do?
Yeah, thank you, CB.
Yeah, I think yes, I would. I'm a little short bloke, but because I'm carrying a lot of weight, I figured if they didn't catch me, I'd just bounce. So that would be all right. That'd be good.
I mean, we I don't know. We do bounce just a little bit for big guys, don't we?
It's much safer. It's much safer. I'm totally covered by an airbag. It's great.
I mean, the other good thing is if you toss us into the water, we don't need a life vest. We just float.
100%.
Amen to that.
See?
Yeah.
100%. To all the people that don't have the airbag, this is what you're missing.
More to love.
And also, it's a true fact that fat people are very, very much more difficult to kidnap.
True.
Yeah.
All right. So on to the next question. Do you guys think that pineapple belongs on pizza?
Oh, we're going there.
Yes.
I have a pineapple right there, dude. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not a swinger or anything. It's not upside down or anything like that, man. Well, not yet. But
okay. You both gave that look when he said about swing. You know what the pineapple symbol is, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's good. It's because we were just been checking because we've mentioned that to somebody before, and they just looked at me blankly and went, "What's that got to do with fruit?" I'm like, "What? Just don't go with it." Pineapple on pizza.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. I mean, anything on pizza I'll eat. So it's like you could put anything on it and I'd eat it. So yeah, I guess I'm good with that. It's not a controversial subject for me.
Okay. Good. So my part 2 on this is: does pizza need to be eaten with a fork or without a fork?
Without. Without. It has to be without. You have to bite into it and all the sauce and everything goes. It's like that's how it should be eaten.
You can't eat pizza with a fork, man. That's just like it's sacrilege.
Yeah.
No. That's no.
See, that would be one of those things that you said. What is stereotypical about people saying about the British? It's like, we eat everything with a knife and fork, don't we? I have a fork for you.
Now, me personally, I'm one of those psychopaths that eats my pizza with a fork. I know.
Blasphemy.
But I have this thing about eating pizza and it getting all over the place, so I eat it with a fork.
Yeah, but I can understand you doing it because you've got some real sweet facial furniture going on there, dude. So
yes,
I understand that's a logical reason for doing it. But
look! If it gets stuck in there, we can just save it for later and have it.
100%.
That's fair too.
100%. It's like, like 2 weeks later, is this pepperoni gone off or it's fine? I know where it's been. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
just take it out in the microwave for a couple of minutes. You'll be fine, man. It's all good.
I mean, that's no disrespect. If that works for you, I agree with Clivey. Obviously with the furniture, around here. You've got to be careful. I get that. I mean, I just got that bit here, and yeah. So
I used to have a beard, but I had an accident about a week ago.
About a week ago, he knew he was coming on this, and I said, "You better grow the damn beard back before we go on this thing."
I'm really sweating.
What are you doing? It's like, oh,
yeah, I slipped.
What did someone just say? Someone from Chicago said something about a fork.
We got the rising fall in the comments. It's very Chicago.
Oh,
okay.
Do you? Oh, is that
I mean,
like,
I can understand them eating the knife with a knife and fork in Chicago. I mean, I
some of those
Chicago, but I'm sure they got some damn good pizza.
Some of those deep dish pizzas are like a lasagna.
Yeah,
like you have to eat it with a fork.
I would.
Just give me the plate.
Facts. I will still eat it.
My weird little brain at the moment is just on a tangent. I have like a very abstract thinking at times, and I'm just wondering what it'd be like to eat pizza with chopsticks right now.
Oh, you got pizza in the freezer? We should try that later.
No.
Yeah. Okay. But just
Just
ignore us.
All right. All right. Mosh, what you got?
So going into the music question again.
Sure.
What was growing up? What was the time that you really decided that you wanted to become a musician? Like, what inspired you to be a musician, or who inspired you? Because I know from Jags's point of view, we got Lemmy that inspired him to do his band, and I can't wait for more of his music to come out still. But what do y'all got?
Yeah, God bless him.
I mean, for me, I was very much not so much a musician per se, but some people that got me into music. So I used to get on a school bus in the mornings, and our school bus was like, the trek was quite long. It'd take about an hour to get into like the town where I went to school from the village that I lived in. And being a young guy, quite quiet, what have you, a bit scared of all these like metalers that were basically on the back of the school bus. There were all these like sweaty, long-haired dudes with like leather and everything else. And for some reason, like because I was quite quiet, they kind of adopted me and started chucking tapes at me. So they chucked like Slave to the Grind, Skid Row, band called Status Quo that was over here. They chucked me loads of their albums, Guns N' Roses, Nirvana, Stone Temple Pilots, and that really just, I was like, wow, this is cool. And that was kind of like the essence of what really got me into what I call rock music, Queen, bands like that. And I just fell in love with pretty much everything they were chucking at me. I think the one that I really bonded with was Bleach, Nirvana. And once I found Nirvana Bleach, I just wanted to kind of emulate Kurt Cobain. And that's what really got me into playing guitar, was the whole of Nevermind. I could pretty much probably still play back to front now. It was like it was just something totally different. I just sat there and listened and listened and listened and played and played and played and just totally fell in love with the guitar through playing along to that. And Kurt Cobain was like my idol. I bleached my hair. I had the flannel.
I remember your hair being bleached.
Yeah. Don't do it. It falls out. But yeah.
Hey, I'm already there.
My hair used to be like right down here, man. It was like pinky and purpley and whatever. Kurt Cobain was like a style icon for me as well as everything else. I loved the look. I loved the grunge scene. And he just, he was a bit of a different character to like the general sort of rock stuff that I listened to into that period. Like Guns N' Roses were huge, Skid Row were huge. They were all very much larger than life. They were all very flamboyant, Motley Crue. Kurt Cobain was a bit more poetic, and I kind of connected with him a little bit more than I did with these guys that got all the women and stuff, because I was quite chilled and geeky, I guess. So for me, Kurt Cobain was like a real kind of like, oh, okay, so you don't need to be
mine's. I'm not going to say boring. I suppose for me would have been. My dad, music taste was like eclectic, and my mum, and hopefully she's listening if she is. Hi, Mum. my dad, Springsteen, right? The River. I remember as a kid, and that was one of my earliest memories of a song that kept going, because he used to play it incessantly, and it stuck with me. And I'm like, and then I started listening to the words and listening to the lyrics, and it was like, oh, this actually tells a story. The music's really cool, but there's a story he's telling, and for some reason that made me go, he's just telling stories, and then sort of Fleetwood Mac, similar. Dad was listening to a lot of that when we were kids. We used to, when you go on holiday, Dad would put the cassette in the car, like Tango in the Night by Fleetwood Mac. He had to buy 2 copies because he ran the first one out, So I guess for me it was like that side of things that I distinctly remember. And my mum's a huge Motown fan. So the stuff so I got my dad listening to like sort of, rocky stuff and anything from the Sex Pistols to Bowie. And then my mum's like Hendrix and Motown. And so the two kind of merged in the house, although none of my family's musical at all. Well, not even me. So, do you know what I mean? But I think for me the musical side where the lyrics, and that's kind of my role in what we're doing, and it was the storytelling that got me, and you could picture your own images and stuff. So I guess it was Springsteen, and
your lyrics are very storytelling, aren't they?
Yeah, that to me is, I suppose that's happened since I was young. As I got older, it would be like, I think the other one that would be Pearl Jam for me. Eddie Vedder, man, just that. Yeah, but again, Eddie Vedder, it's lyrics again, telling a story. It's that kind of, that's mine, I think. Yeah, definitely. Good show.
All right. So this has become kind of a really fun question that I've been asking people.
Oh God.
What is your worst fear?
Oh God.
Yeah.
Sharing a tour bus in a bucket with this dude right here.
My worst fear.
Should I say going second?
Are we still talking about going to the bathroom?
Yes.
All right. Okay. I suppose I have this fear, and I know it's quite a common fear that people have. I don't like clowns.
Get that?
Okay. That's a common one.
Nobody's that happy all the time. Okay. I remember going to the circus here and with a friend of mine, and the clown's coming out doing this. I said, if he comes near me, I'm gonna lay him out. That's it. If he comes near me, give me it's only a clown. He's doing balloon. I said, I don't care. Right, he's going down if he comes anywhere near me. I don't like pylons. Like the big pylons that carry electricity lines and the humming and stuff. That freaks me out ever since I've been a kid.
Note to self: Google clowns in pylons to send him later.
Do you know? I think the fear of, I suppose, from a music point of view, I used to worry about. I still do to a point, I think, and I think any artist would feel this. You get a lot of artists that will turn around and go, "Oh, I don't care what people think. I'm doing it for me, and it doesn't matter." Of course, it matters. There is an element of that you do worry when you're going to put something out. The next track we're putting out it's quite a change from the first single, and it's a cover. So we're taking a bit of a risk, I suppose. Because we decided, well, let's do that. So when the cover of Stand By Me comes out, sorry, here's a plug here. Stand By Me, 30th of May. Thanks. But when that comes out, I'm intrigued to see. It is scary, and I think for anybody that's anyone, whether they're a painter or a sculptor or a poet or an author or an actor, everyone has that fear of when you put something out there, you're kind of vulnerable. You're exposing yourself, your soul to people, and they might not like it. And if they do like it, or they might not understand it, there is that little bit of fear. I'm not so much as I'm getting older, but there is. I just, I'm not looking for validation. It's just, I just don't want to put anything out that's shit. It's like, you know, but that's subjective, you know. So yeah, I do have that as a bit of a fear.
Yeah, I think for me, the only thing that really I have fear for is anything that involves my kids. Just their health. Yeah, as long as they're happy and healthy, I'm cool.
Yeah, man.
That's the only thing that really bothers me. And clowns in pylons, apparently. But yeah, that's about it.
All right. So, if y'all was to take a big tour, where would y'all go? Like, where would be the number one place that you would go? Festival, a venue? Where would you go?
Money's no problem.
Yeah,
just wherever you want to go.
I may not have heard this answer, but apparently Dracula's. No, actually, no, I won't go into that one because everyone says about visiting Dracula's castle for a music video. I was watching that earlier, and the amount of people that want to do that. But
Dracula's castle.
It was a question that came up on this quite a lot, and it was like, if you could shoot a video and you could have a video anywhere, where would you have it? And a lot of people like Dracula's castle, but.
I mean, there's a lot of places that you can do it, though. I mean, it's your imagination is not limited.
Yeah, I was gonna. Yeah, New Orleans. I think we spoke about it before.
Yeah.
And the other one that intrigues me, I'd love to go and do a tour in Japan just because of the intensity. Like, if they like you, somebody always tell me, if you can crack Japan. Because they are like fanatical, you know, and the fans are real, like, you know. So I'd like to go to Japan. I'd like to go and have a look.
That would be interesting.
Maybe do an acoustic set on top of the pyramids in Giza, in Egypt. That would be quite cool.
Oh, see, yeah. Now we getting it.
You can stand at the top of the pyramid and they can do that camera spin like they did with Slash in November Rain when he's outside the church. You could be at the top of the pyramid and they swing around you. Yeah.
Can I be at the top of a pylon dressed as a clown?
I mean, with the drones that we got now, yeah, they could do that now.
I think, and I'd like to play Glastonbury. That's got to be bucket list. I'd love to play Glastonbury Festival.
Yeah, okay. I think like New Orleans for me, definitely, just because I'd love to visit New Orleans and
yeah, me too.
Just the vibe, just to kind of suck it all up as well, you know. I mean, that'd just be amazing.
I think the other one for me is the Bluebird in Nashville.
Yeah,
like Nashville, because of the you know, and we were talking about this as well. The Whiskey Go-Go, I know that, but because potentially that's where Jim Morrison was in, that whole connection. Yeah, to be in the same building as for me, that's
so basically we're saying America.
Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
So if anybody's out there and knows how we can get there, we're looking for endorsements. You know, I'm joking.
All right. Well, we're at the end of the show. We just I know time flies.
Yeah.
We would like to know from you guys how our fans can get in touch with you, any merch that you guys have, any shirts that you guys might sell. How do they get that from you guys?
Okay. So predominantly it's Facebook first. As I say, the band, we've only been together 4 months, and we've only got one single out. As I say, the next one's coming. Merch, we've got the ideas, we've got the designs for it. And we can make it happen. I like that. Whoever
Thank you.
I think, so it'll be Facebook first.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're on Spotify and all the streaming platforms for that, but Facebook's the first port of call for us at the moment. Website we're looking at the moment, because it's still so new. And we've kind of done this, what I would say, arse about face anyway, because most bands, they'll go out and they'll play loads of gigs and then they'll put the single out. We're doing it the other way around. You know, we're putting the single out and we've got shows coming. But if you go to Facebook, Stateline Sinners, you can find us pretty much anywhere. But Facebook first, that's where all the news goes out first. It's got all our contact details and that sort of thing. So if anybody in the States is looking to book a British band that's very nice, find us there. Okay, that's good. That's
merch is Merch is also being sorted. We've got some cool T-shirts. So they're in the pipeline and will be going up. They'll go up on the website once the website's sorted.
Can we say something really quick before we go?
Absolutely.
Okay, there's a few people that I want to give a shout out to. Mark Power, he's our sound engineer. The guy is a dude. Mark, if you're listening, if it's the nuts, it's the nuts. We love you, man. Seriously, thank you.
No, thank you.
Mum, if you're listening, I love you. My brother, I love you. That's kind of that. Anyone else you want to?
Well, at the end of the show, we like to go ahead and play a music video of the band that we're interviewing. So this is Stateline Sinners with The Devil Don't Play.
We're all God-fearing folk here. They send the sinners to the state line.
Your soul, roll the dice and take it slow. This one false move will put you 6 feet down below. Live it up, far above. When you wanna get wasted and push your love, let the sin all begin. 'Cause you're the kind of company I'm keeping. 20 years to even up and score, but the devil don't wanna play no more. Devil don't wanna play no more. Grab your shit, hit the road. No, it's pretty bad when a preacher lost his soul. But I've been there 100 times. Yes, I never followed or believed all his lies. Nothing left, no place to hide. Doing what I can just to make it out of here alive. Take your best shot. It's not my time. But I know I'll still survive. Took me 20 years to even up a score, but the devil don't wanna play no more. Devil don't wanna play no more.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist. Even up a score, now the devil don't wanna play no more. Yeah. the sinners approached the state line, they wondered if they'd ever find redemption.